Martha Carr, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
You as Judith Berens again. You're back as Judith Berens, one half of the writing team of Judith Berens. I don't know why we don't get Anderle on these things.
He's where in the world is Michael Anderle?
Yes, that's we have to read his author notes to find out.
Yes, that's right. Check in. Read to the back.
So today we are talking about the fifth book in the Last Vampire series.
Right.
So we haven't done a show about the Last Vampire, so just talk about the characters in the series and the idea behind the series, and then we'll talk for a bit about this specific book.
Okay, so this series is about, there's a young vampire, and it's, I believe, 400 years ago, and her father, they live in a castle in Austria, I believe, and something is happening, and her father feels it's necessary to put her into her coffin for the night, but he's really putting her to sleep for the foreseeable future because the villagers and everyone else is trying to kill off every last vampire. Mm-hmm. So when she finally wakes up, it's present day. The castle's been upgraded to a B&B. There's an American family of a father and daughter who are staying there. And so when she comes to, the entire world has changed. I mean, she was born into an era when the printing press was big news. And now there's cell phones and, nothing is the same. And she's a vampire. And so we thought that would be fun, a different way to do the vampire story with a teenager who first has to figure out, she's very smart. So it doesn't take long for her to catch up to, but, that kind of fish out of water. And she has to hide. There's still, the organization that was after her family still exists. They think every vampire is gone. So she has to hide who she is. And this American father and daughter decide to take her in as family. They just lost, the girl lost her mother, and so they decide to take her in and take her back to America and adopt her as one of their own. And so it becomes this lost girl, last vampire, in public school, and learning how to use her powers because that kind of got cut off. But yet not let anybody know she's there. So she has close calls where even to rescue someone, she gives away that she possesses a little more ability than she should, speed, strength. And then there's the question, what happened to her parents? Are they still alive? Are they dead? How'd they die? It's, it's fun, and it's got a little action adventure in it too.
And there's, I know at least in the early books, I'm not sure by the time we get to book 5, but there's just a lot of school stuff and a lot of popular culture that's always a part of a Judith Berens book.
Right.
And,
So pop culture is one of my favorite things. It's my superpower is pop culture, and so that goes on as well. And also, you have 2 teenage girls who have to learn to get along, and suddenly they're sisters and sharing space, but one of them has fangs, and the other one, lost her mother not too long ago. So it gives you a nice dynamic, and and also the usual boys and dating and who likes who and trying to figure out how to drive a car, the whole thing. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Plus there's always that group that's out there that thinks every vampire needs to be killed for the sake of humanity.
Is there always that group out there that does that?
Well, if there were vampires that really exist, I'm sure there would be.
I couldn't help but think, as you were describing the setup for the story, I was just thinking of the Superman origin story and how similar this is, except it's a young girl, and she was here on Earth and her planet didn't explode or anything. But same kind of thing. This person with amazing powers winds up with a family that doesn't really know what to make of it.
Yeah. And the father was laid off, so he's trying to figure out how to do a podcast, something you'd know something about.
Yes.
And so you have several different kind of story threads weaving through it that I think a lot of people could relate to. But, with Judith Berens, we also want you to have fun. I mean, this is so you can escape and as entertainment. and so that you walk away feeling a little bit better about the world, but had some fun. So that's the whole point of reading anything by Judith Berens.
Absolutely. So the first book in this series is The Girl Behind the Wall, and you'll notice a theme to these names. And I'm always curious about how the titles come about. Girl Behind the Wall, Girl in the Back Row, Girl with a Secret, The Girl in Plain Sight, and the new book, today's book, The Girl Unleashed. So first, what's the story on the titles?
Okay, so the first one, The Girl Behind the Wall, is kind of obvious because she was literally stuck behind a wall.
Uh-huh.
And the girl in the last row, I think it is.
In the back row. Mm-hmm.
In the back row, because she finds herself in public school sitting in the back row trying to figure out, what's a cell phone and why do things keep going by the window. Uh-huh. Right. And even what's electricity? I mean, start there. And what's the next one? Because they each had a reason.
The Girl with a Secret.
So her secret is almost exposed, or maybe it is. I don't want to give anything away. Let's just say.
Yeah, that might have been a slip there. And The Girl in Plain Sight.
And more of the same. And then The Girl Unleashed, the new one, is about her really coming into her power. Her really figuring out how to use it without letting it be known who she is, and her need to possibly defend against encroaching forces. Because much like me slipping, it's hard to keep, in the days of social media, it's hard to keep quiet that a girl can do what she can do. I don't want to give too much away, but, sometimes you have to choose between protecting yourself or saving someone else. And if you save someone else, you may pay a consequence for it. And it's leading up to The Girl Unleashed.
Gotcha. Okay, so that is the last vampire series. It's available at Amazon. It's available on Kindle Unlimited. If you've been reading right along, The Girl Unleashed is out today. If you just heard this and are intrigued by the series, start with The Girl Behind the Wall. Martha Carr, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
I mean Judith Berens. I am so sorry. I hope I didn't give away your real name by mistake.
I'm Berens and he's Judith, so.
Talk to you later.
Thank you.